Yeah. Firstly, thank you, Sean, for that great introduction. And I must say that I'm really delighted to be here, and hopefully my presentation and my knowledge will help you in the future set up your own farm. My name is MarekPokorny. I'm founder of ShamrockEscargot, and this is story behind the one-man farm. We are established since all of a sudden, to say that it was two great presentations. I don't think so. It might be so great, but be more technical, and it's my first presentation, so hopefully we're good. We are established since October 2015, actually December, when we bought first 10,000 breeding snails imported from France. Here on the picture you can see a few of them. I don't know if you remember, last December was a very warm December, and in that time I didn't have any cooling room or any hibernation unit, so I just placed them simply to garage, but very well isolated to the garage, and as a result of that I was forced by 3 farms on just cooling them 24 hours, 7 days per week. And for you who planning to breed your own snails, I just give you advice. And maybe Eva mentioned that don't start with a huge scale. It's just that you might do loads of mistakes and then you'll be devastated. Just start with small experiment. Bring 6, 8 snails at home. Just make kind of small, simple cage and just try in small scale. And then that will give you, it's great help once you will start with the large scale of the breeding. Now here, my first project was construction of breeding tunnel. It's the 50 feet long tunnel. As you can see, the arches, normally you're using for arches solid metal arches. However, last winter there was I think 9 storms. So my advice is use plastic PVC 1.5 inch pipes. It's just they will go move with the force of the wind and will not rip and break the polyethylene. So it's a good advice, and really strong solid base with really deep anchors. I have 3 layers in the tunnel, 2 polyethylenes, and between 1 bubble wrap. It's a good through that nice warmy days. The warm air is just trapped between the 2 layers, and will make difference of 4 degrees in anchor. It's a great advice. And good penetration. If you will build your polytunnel on the land, where the nature of the soil, it's say clay, then you need obviously go with the option of drainage or bring some of the water, because if you will, as you know, snails need loads of water, and if you will give snails half of a cubic meter of water per day, then you will have a big pool if you will have clay under your tunnel. So either good penetrating type of soil or the drainage system. I also put layer of stones, even if you have good nature of the soil, because sometimes the soil is just very much saturated and you don't want to step in that. And that's the final view on the tunnel. It's a really storm survivor. It's survive all the 9 storms, no problem. You need to manage well your space in the tunnel. Because if you imagine you will have 20,000 breeders there. It's not a huge space, 50 feet. So as my background, it's environmental and civil engineering, so I design everything and build myself. I use actually several designs, which, you know, and then you will find the proper, the final, which will really suit you. Especially with the collection of the feces. You don't want really so the whole feces will down somewhere between the stones, so it will just attract flies and smell and everything. So what I did, I have on the side of each the bed plastic pipe, and under the bed it's a polyethylene sheet, the water running to the pipe. On the end of the pipe it's kind of filtered, water going through, feces are catched, feces collected every day, perfect, no problem. That's the breeding unit in operation. I don't know if it's a great picture. Yeah. Just like my 12 beds. I think that was designed for 10,000–15,000 breeders. Here on the side you can see once the snails starting laying eggs, you need to provide flower pots full of soil. The snail will go on the top, partially buried, and laying eggs. Also you need to sort the space for the snails. You see the sheets, polyethylene sheets. On each sheet you will have, you can put probably 200–300 snails. If you have 20 sheets, large number of snails, you're saving space. Here you can see the feeding process. You need to clean the place of the feeding every day, so if any mold or anything, which could harm the snail. Yeah, breeding process. That's the first mating. Nice. They mating approximately, not expert, but approximately 24 hours. Something put more. Some of them die after that because they are so exhausted. And after 3 days, 4 days, they will go on that. They will go and, as I mentioned, on the prepared flower pots full of soil, the partially buried, a special cage. You will put them. You will place the pots full of snails. Close the cage, because once they will go down from the pots, they will go all over the tunnel. So you need to keep them in one place. Here's actually when you will then turn the pot, break the soil, whatever coming from the and just you find cocoon of approximately 100–150 eggs, depends on the snail. Here, and it's the same like Eva showed. That's you can use just cheap lunch boxes filled up with soil. On the top, you will place your eggs, leave them for 18 days, approximately 18 days, and then you will have small snails. They coming on the top of that box. You will collect them gently, close the box, spray with water, close the box, and in a few hours, 3–4 hours, and you will have full top of the box again. Of course, through that winter, you need to provide heat in the tunnel. I goes for the first year for option of store barrel. It's very popular in America, and you can probably heat with that kind of heating 4,000 square feet house. It's a really great efficiency. That's in operation. You just place fan behind that and just let the blow the warm air inside the tunnel. It's really good. Now here we started with the pen. There might be a few farmers here, but I did my first mistake. I plowed the ground, and you should leave the plowed ground for a year before you will seed, if that's correct. I seed straight away, and then the last result I had half of grass and half of juicy lettuce, so it didn't work well. But yeah, like in the end. Then you placing your pegs. I actually didn't put it here. First, what you should do, you definitely put around your pen galvanized steel and bury deep. It's just great against pests, especially rats, mice. I didn't do that on the start. Just put down the pegs because the expenses and everything. So I put on the pegs around with windbreaker, the classic green windbreaker, and covered with netting against the birds. After a few weeks, then I add the galvanized steel, and which is really very, very important. Very important is also irrigation system. Some of you might have well, some of you might be connected with main water. If you have your own well, then you're going to be so careful on that consumption of the water, and which means you can go maybe for cheaper option of sprinkles. For people who are connected with main, then you might buy a little bit more expensive and more, I would say, consumption friendly sprinkles. pallets. So yeah, that's the sprinkles, just a cheap, I don't know, €5 sprinkles, a couple of them you can see on the place here. That's the pallets, I think we have 120, 150 pallets. Again, just pallet wood, 130 mil wide, it's perfect. We can close together because if you're feeding, you don't want so the whole that food go through them and then just going back, you know, and hits the finish of that pan. That's how it looks with the galvanized steel. It's perfectly protected against the birds and any other pests. Here we also that's my second project or third project, kitchen. It's the kitchen unit which I designed and built. It's under construction. It's a full inspected and approved by Department of Agriculture, which means we have a license at the moment, condition for 3 months. But through that 3 months, you need to prove that with all the sampling and everything that you're doing, everything on the order and everything is clean, swabbing, loads of testing every 2 weeks, approximately 15-20 samples for testing for water. It's a loads of testing and spending money, but it's, you know, and it's that's the way which we decide to go. So that's the fine with the kitchen. It's not massive. It's a 4x3, but it's working perfectly. As I said, it's approved. It was designed just to do the first testing and sampling on the products. Once we will grow with the production, of course, we will build something bigger. This one is just extension unit for as changing room with washing your hands and everything. That's again one of the parts was design septic tank. What I did, I just buried simply 200-liter barrel. It's perfectly collecting all the water from the kitchen, and then you can see the other pipe, the hose just bringing when it's full automatically to proper septic tank. Here, that's my hibernation unit on the right side, on the top. That's under construction. That's the finished one on the right side, if you can see hopefully. Yeah, it's a quite large one. You need to isolate properly, and it's I install air conditioning, so it's perfectly work as DIY hibernation unit. In relation to food processing license, you need to be fully inspected and approved by Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. You need your HACCP plan. You need to provide SOP, standard operation procedures. Your processing kitchen has to comply with health and safety hygiene standards. You need to provide your risk assessments of each stages of the production. And as I mentioned before, the loads laboratory testing, water products. As I said, it's a bit costly, but like once you will go through, it's nice feeling. And here we have our products ready for testing. So we have 4 products at the moment. We have caviar, marinated escargot liver, marinated fillets, and frozen escargot with garlic butter. Here you can see with the business card. That's out at the moment, and we are just already now launching for shops and everything. So we're at the stage of expanding the shelf life at the moment. That's from last week from a Taste of Italy. That was actually our first fair event. It was a great success. Like people really loved it. Like we came with the idea of make warm dish, not just we offered all 3 products in cold version, but we also came with warm dish with a sprout, garlic, butter, parsley, and bacon, and people absolutely loved that. Like people said, "Oh, I never had something so amazing. It was so great taste." Like, and actually, I came with the idea the night before. I just tried for my wife. Fantastic. So Yeah, and the next, what we plan or what we do, it's from Friday to Sunday we are on RDS on one of the largest food festivals, Bite Festival in Dublin. So that will be probably great, to be live cooking and everything. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy.